Hello everyone, welcome back to Self Talk Show. I'm your show host Meetali here to bring you thought-provoking stories, ideas and tools to transform your inner dialogue and ultimately your life. Today we are exploring a book that's part fiction, part self-help and 100% transformative. And that is Captain's Wanted, a journey of self-discovery by Andres Schabelman. This book takes you on an emotional and transformative journey through the eyes of its unnamed protagonist, who, after failing to land his dream job, finds himself embarking on a series of unconventional ceremonies to rediscover his sense of self. Now, before we dive into the review, let's take a moment to meet the incredible author behind this inspiring book. Andres Schabelman is a successful tech entrepreneur and was one of the first 30 employees at Airbnb. His career highlights include helping businesses expand internationally and serving as the VP of International Expansion at Fiverr, where he stood on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange during their public debut in 2019. With a master's degree in public policy from Harvard Kennedy School and a BA from Williams College, Andres has an impressive resume. But these accolades aren't what define him today. His current dream is to showcase the magic and power of human connection around the world. Born and raised in New Orleans to Argentine Jewish parents and within a broader Colombian immigrant community, Andres traveled the world nomadically, often based in Mexico. He is also a comedian, actor, writer, and travel host, bringing his unique blend of insight and humor to everything he does. Now that we know a bit about Andres, let's jump into the heart of the episode, the book review. When you pick up Captain's Wanted, you might think you are stepping into a simple story about career challenges and personal discovery. But what Andres Schabelman delivers is so much more than that. It's a map. Yes, the book starts with a metaphorical map that guides readers through the storms of life, offering reflections on self-worth, resilience, and the power of authenticity. The story follows an unnamed protagonist who somewhat reluctantly and organically, after a failed job interview, embarks on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth through a series of transformative ceremonies and experiences. The protagonist navigates challenges in career and identity, confronting his fears and societal expectations, while ultimately learning to embrace both the light and shadow within themselves. Guided by metaphorical ceremonies led by characters like Marlene and Adolphe, the protagonist explores deeper truths about authenticity, vulnerability, and meaningful connections with oneself and others. Schabelman's writing blends humor, introspection, and a touch of magical realism, making this a compelling read for anyone grappling with questions of identity in today's fast-paced world. Now, let's take a closer look at the protagonist's journey. Number 1. The Catalyst. Failing the dream job interview. The story begins with the protagonist preparing for what he believes is a life-changing job interview with Zuan, a corporate figure who represents societal expectations and traditional career success. The failure to secure the job shatters his confidence and leaves him questioning his identity and worth. After the rejection, the protagonist spirals into self-doubt, isolation, and unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as distracting himself with meaningless activities and avoiding introspection. He feels stuck, aimless, and burdened by the weight of societal pressures. Number 2. A push into the unknown, encountering the right people. Rather than making a conscious decision to start a journey, the protagonist's path begins to unfold through chance encounters with individuals who gently push him towards self-discovery. These encounters often feel serendipitous, but they are driven by his openness to find something meaningful after his perceived failure. The protagonist's first major step begins when he meets Marlene. She introduces him to the first ceremony, seeing the seer, This involves staring into each other's eyes for a prolonged period, allowing for a deeper understanding of self and the other, which challenges him to confront his inner fears and emotional barriers. This encounter serves as the doorway to the protagonist's journey, as Marlin becomes a guide who facilitates his first moment of true vulnerability and self-reflection. Here's a passage from the ceremony, Seeing the Seer. Tonight, we will explore a kind of alchemy together, Marlene says, with the backs of her wrists now resting on her knees. It's been said, the eyes cannot lie, that they are merely windows through which we witness the world unfolding. It's why we hear phrases like seeing is believing. But would you believe me if I told you that seeing is only the part of the experience of the sight? This passage perfectly captures the novel's invitation to look beyond the surface and uncover deeper truths about ourselves and the world. Number 3. A shift in perspective, realizing there's more to life. The ceremonies and rituals slowly guide the protagonist to start thinking beyond societal definitions of success and failure. He begins to see life as more than career achievements, and this realization encourages him to follow the path laid out by his encounters. Following his meeting with Marlene, the protagonist is introduced to Adolf in a national forest. Adolf's grounded and humorous approach helps the protagonist step outside his own mind and reconnect with the world around him. This ceremony marks the first time the protagonist begins to feel lighter, less burdened by his failure and more connected to the simplicity of existence. Number 4. The whisper of life, the screams of death. Another ceremony is introduced by a guide during the protagonist's journey. The protagonist is instructed to immerse himself in the sounds of life and death, exploring the cyclical nature of existence. This ritual is less formalized but deeply symbolic, representing the acceptance of impermanence and duality. Number 5. Rekindling the past. Later in the journey, the protagonist reconnects with Tina, his girlfriend in the desert. This meeting is not accidental. Tina represents a key part of his past and reminds him of the person he was once before societal expectations took over. Through their collaboration on creating a scent, the protagonist taps into creativity, grounding, and the emotional significance of memory. Number 6. The writing journey with AI. Throughout the book, the protagonist engages in a creative partnership with AI. Their discussions center around writing, identity, and purpose. AI challenges the protagonist's creative ideas, often urging them to adopt more conventional approaches. These conversations reflect the protagonist's internal conflict. Should they conform to societal norms or carve out their own path? Number 7. The significance of vulnerability. One of the most striking themes in Captain's Wanted is its exploration of vulnerability. The protagonist learns that true growth comes not from perfection, but from embracing both light and shadow. Through the ceremonies, they confront shame, self-doubt, and impermanence, ultimately finding strength in their perfections. Number 8. The duality of life, light and shadow. The novel beautifully portrays the duality of human experience. The ceremonies teach the protagonist to integrate positive and negative emotions, realizing that both are necessary for a complete understanding of life. This theme is especially prominent in the third ceremony, where life's whispers and death's screams are seen as two sides of the same coin. Now let's take a look at the key themes in the book. Number 1. Self-discovery. The protagonist's journey mirrors our universal quest to find purpose and authenticity. Through ceremonies, failures, and connections, they learn to embrace both their strengths and imperfections. Number 2. The power of rituals. Each ceremony challenges the protagonist in unique ways, breaking through self-doubt and fostering growth. Number 3. Light and shadow. The novel emphasizes that true self-awareness comes from integrating all aspects of ourselves, the good and the bad. Number 4, collaboration and connection. From Marlene to Adolf to Tina, every character pushes the protagonist toward growth, proving that self-discovery is often sparked by others. Now, what is the symbolism of this title? What does it signify? The title Captain Wanted is more than a call to leadership. It's an invitation to take ownership of your life. It's about steering through life's calms and stormy seas, guiding by small markers like self-reflection, connection, and community. One particularly powerful symbol is the cane, a stack of stones used to mark trails. It's a reminder that even when the path isn't clear, there are always signs to guide us forward. Captain's Wanted isn't just a novel. It's a mirror reflecting the struggles, the triumphs, and the messy beauty of being human. So whether you are at a career crossroads, battling self-doubt, or simply curious about living more authentically, this book has something to offer everyone. So let me ask you, are you ready to take the helm of your life? If this episode resonated with you, pick a copy of Captain's Wanted. You will find the link in the episode description. And if you have already read it, I would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with anyone who could use a little inspiration. Until next time, remember, you are the captain of your own story. Keep steering toward the life you want. Thank you.